Hi folks, this is Rose from Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work on another pair of earrings, possibly two, from my Day of the Dead JJB Ambassador Kit for September. And this is what the first pair is going to look like, a little party for your ears. And I think this is really fun, and all the tassels, all the beads are from the Day of the Dead bead mix. So let's turn down and we'll get working on this pair. Okay, what we need for this pair is a piece of 20 gauge wire. This is probably, I don't know, 5 inches. You don't need that much. I cut off a whole bunch. Probably 3 or 4 would be fine. Well, maybe better make it 4. One head pin, ear wire, all 4 sets of tassels from your Day of the Dead, one of the 2 little white skulls, a crystal rondelle spacer, one little gold rondelle, or you can use another color if you prefer. One of these little ones I call a disco ball, a short piece of chain. This one has 5 links on it. Well, it's got more than that because it's Figaro chain, but it's the 5 links I want the most. And then 5 little jump rings. So let's get started. And these are the last things, so we'll put those aside and we will get started here. So you can either do one of 2 things first. You can put this little disco ball on your wire here and wrap it up. We're going to do a wrapped loop here. You will need 2 pair of pliers for this pair of earrings, your flush cutters, and either your bell making pliers or your round nose pliers. I prefer the bell making pliers. I think they make a more consistent loop, but that's entirely up to you. So put your little disco ball on your head pin, bend it over. Now this is where I use my stepped bell making pliers on the smallest step. I like the consistency of the loops. Wrap it around, drop it down, finish wrapping. Makes a nice little loop like this. Then get your chain nose pliers, take hold of that loop, and then wrap this around 2 or 3. Well, I say 2 or 3 times, but I usually do 4 or 5. So, because of the width of how far up I put that. Now that was a little bit not wrapped good. There we go. Straighten that out. And 5. So then we cut the excess wire off, being careful only to cut that wire. Look and make sure that you don't have your loop or something else in there, because I have cut off my loop before. It's not fun. So then you have to start over, of course. So then tuck in any little bits. Now this is ready to be set aside in the dish. And now we're going to make our loops. Actually, this can go in the dish too. It's the last thing. So go down a couple of inches, or well, 1.5 inches. Make a bend. Get your bell making pliers back out again, or your round nose. Go around. Drop it. Come back around till you've formed a full circle. As you can see, it's right there. I think I've got it a little bit off. So there we go. Full circle. And the next thing you want to do is add your chain to this before you wrap it. So to do that, you simply take one of the links of your chain, the bottom link, swing it up the bar until it goes around the circle. Then grab with your chain nose, as you would even if there's nothing in there. Hold that and wrap it at least 2 to 3 times. When you're done doing that, make sure your chain's not in the way as well as your loop, and then cut off your excess wire. Okay. And tuck your wire in. Okay. When you have that tucked in, make sure things are looking straight. And then the first thing you're going to put on is this little skull. Okay. Let's see how I want him to sit, like this, I guess. Then your crystal rondelle spacer and your rondelle. Now that you've got that on, compare to make sure you're going the same direction, which I am. Now you want to make your upper loop by doing the same thing. Bend it over, wrap, okay, hold this and wrap it around. Now when I'm doing this with my, sometimes I just hold it with the pliers I have to make our loop, but lately I've been finding that I like it much better if I just hold it with my little pliers and wrap that way. Now once we've got that all done, tuck this wire again, upper wire into place. Make sure that, see how that's bent back quite a bit? You can take your pliers and easily just move it forward some, and that's much better. And they are opposite each other because we're going to put our tassels down on the chain now, and this is where we're of course hanging our loops. So we don't need the bell making pliers anymore, so we can put those away, and we won't need our flush cutters, so we can put those away as well and bring out these. Now we need to decide which one we want on top and to the bottom, and this is your choice. You don't have to follow me, but I did go with blue, then orange, then pink, then black. So, and this guy is last. So what you do is just open your little jump rings. I use oval jump rings because they have a split here in the side as opposed to, and so the weight goes to top and bottom of your piece, so your connection doesn't find the way out very easily. Like sometimes you can, especially if you're working with something thin, I've had them work their way out and lose the bottom pieces of my things. So anyway, now that we've got opened the jump ring, we place it in the piece of where we want it on the chain and on the tassel. As you can see, I put this blue tassel at the top in the first ring, which is the same one that's going through the bottom wrapped loop here. So we will just proceed like that, taking one with each jump ring into each hole, and then the very last hole of your chain is for your little dangle. So when you do these, use 2 pliers, twist for your jump ring. Now we want to feed on our flower tassel. Now what you want to do is make sure that you're going in the opposite side, so you have 2 going one way and 2 going the next way. I find sometimes the easiest way to do that is to pick it up and to sort of separate them so I can see where everything's at. So this one will go right here, and then close her back up. And now we need to get the other 2. So then we go with the pink. So into the pink, and then we want the side of the chain to feed into the side of the chain where the blue is. So we want, come on baby, don't give me problems here. Okay, so we want this side on the 3rd link. Go on. And close her back up. And lastly, we have the 5th one. I mean the black one as far as the tassels are go, and then we'll do our little disco ball. So here goes the black. Now the black goes on the other side, the same side as the orange. So come on, chain, let's come out of here. I have to find the chain here. Okay. Now we can see that the pink is going from that side, so we want to go from this side. And close it back up. You wish to do this so that they're not all falling from the same side, so you have some stagger to this. See how that works? And now we have to put on the little disco ball at the very bottom. That will give it a little weight so that it will hang down better, but it also gives it a little bit of oomph there at the very bottom. So now let's find our chain in the very last link. Now you could do this the opposite way if you wanted to. Start at the bottom and go up. For some people that actually might be the simplest way, because you can see your chain better and as you're going. There we go. Last piece is on. And now we just have to put on our ear wire and our little earring is done. So to put on the ear wire, all you need to do is open this little ring at the top just like you would a jump ring. Just pull it sideways, slide this baby on, and close it back up. So there we go. There's our first pair of earrings finished. And as I say, party for your ears. So hopefully you'll enjoy that, and you'll enjoy the next pair just as much. I hope you liked those really fun tassel-y party for your ears earrings. So now let's go to earring pair 2, which I just really love. It's going to be a hoop using the little enameled sugar skull and a couple of really bright beads. So let's turn down again and we'll make this pair now. I love these. I'll probably keep these. Okay, for these pretty little sugar skull earrings, we'll need some 18 gauge wire, a tiny little bit of 20 gauge, the sugar skull, teeny weeny little pink bead, big yellow bead in the middle, a couple of these sparkly, I call them potato chips. I think they have a different name, but that's what I call them. Some of the little pink lava beads. This is a beautiful pink. That's my favorite color, actually. Some crystal spacers. Little turquoisey teal color. And some jump rings. We need 2 of the smaller size and 1 larger, and an ear wire. That's an extra. We don't need that one. So to make more confusing, I use oval jump rings. As you can see, there is a split here in the side. Did it focus good for you? This split being on the side doesn't allow the pieces to get close to it usually, because the weight will go distribute on the top and the bottom of this oval, and then nothing is over by its split. So I feel they're much more secure than the regular round, but if all you have is the round, go ahead and use it, no problem. So shall we get started? Well, maybe I should tell you the tools we need. I'm going to be using this wire wrap mandrel in the oval. If you don't have one, find anything to wrap it around. That's fine. I'm going to use some bail making pliers, the small side, to make my hoops here. You do want your loops here on your sides to be the same size. So if you don't have bell making pliers, I would advise taking your round nose pliers and making a mark on them where you make the first one, so you'll get the same size of loop. And I'm also going to probably be using both pair of these chain nose pliers. And of course my flush cutters. So let's set the tools I'm not going to use right this second away, and we'll get working on this. The first thing we're going to need are these beads. So let's put these back in the tray. We're not going to need them for a wee while. What we do need first is our 18 gauge piece of wire. I'm going to measure that for you so you can see how big it is. It is about 4.5 inches. Maybe just a tish bigger than that, but about 4.5 inches. So you want to grab it about the middle, put it on the bottom ring here, and pull it up and around into an oval. Now it doesn't need to be perfect. We're going to adjust it just a teeny bit because you see I'm not quite even, so let's just push it up. And there we go, we're much more even now. However, this needs to be evened out down here towards the bottom. I think that's good. So we don't need this anymore. This is the extent of what we needed that for. We'll take our bell making pliers and we will make one sides loop, just one. And then after we get through that, we'll be adding the beads. So you need to check your pattern. You can see I have the green, the crystal rondelle, the pink lava, the potato chip, and the yellow, and then continue on. So just choose whatever pattern of beads you wish and then start dropping them on this side that does not have the ring. Now you'll find sometimes, let's make sure I got these potato chips going the right way. Yes, I do. That some of them do not want to go down into the bottom, though this one worked really well. This one did not. It wanted to fight me on where it was going. So we'll get the rest of the beads on here. And once the beads are on there, then you can make the loop on the other side. Okay, and now it should look like this. Now take these, because you want them closer together, just bend them in like this until they're a little closer. Do it to both sides, because otherwise it wants to go to one side or the other. Now this is a little wider, mine is the original, so we'll just pull it back out some so it's about the same. I like to compare them so that I've got them pretty close to each other. Now the next step is going to be to put it together to a degree, because we want to put this section in. We do this piece last. So in order to do that, we will bring out our jump rings. Where is the large one? I should have one large jump ring. See, it's in the middle here. I must not have gotten that out. Just a second, and I will do so. We need this big one because it is what holds everything together. But to start with, we're going to start with these two small ones. So we're going to open each of these jump rings up with a twisting motion and put them on either end of these little loops. Okay, there's one. Now we want to do the second. Now that didn't feel to me like it came together. So if they don't feel like they came together, just sort of wiggle them back and forth with a light forward pressure on them until you feel that little telltale scrape of when it hits. So now we have those two on. The next step is to put the big one on. So let's open the big one up. And I find the easiest way to do this is to hang these down as I put them in so that the loops are going in the proper direction. And then you can put the ear wire on while you're at it. And then tighten her up. There was that scrape I talked about right there. Now we have this section is entirely done. And if you wanted to, you could stop right now. Or you could put any other charm in the middle that you wanted, because you don't have to have the sugar skull. It can be a regular charm, or no charm at all if you like it just like this. So next step, we need to put the sugar skull together. Let's put this right here. And we don't need this for just a second here, because we're going to put this together. Just need this sugar skull, this little pink bead, and the teeny little piece of 20 gauge that we got out. Now I'm not going to do wrapped loops on these because I do not want it to drop down too far. I just want a simple little drop. So we're going to take our bell making pliers and make a simple loop on one side by just rolling it like this, and then taking your pliers, tucking right in here into the circle and bending. And there you go. There's a simple loop made. If it needs to a little more, go for it. Now what we're going to do is put on this little pink bead. These have a coating, so you have to find the way they go on the easiest. There we go. Sling her down there. Now you want to estimate about how much you need to make that top simple loop. And I'm going to cut it about right here, which is about, a finger width. So, let's get out our pliers and cut that off. See which way we're facing. Facing this way, the opening's that direction, so we'll turn it here and we'll roll it to this direction. Now, as you can see, I'm a little bit higher than I want to be, but just barely. But since I don't want that little bit, I'm going to get in and I'm going to cut off just a hair's breadth of wire. Get this in here again and do my final twist. Now that I've got that done, then we will break the neck, as a lot of beading people say. I just want to make that P curve. There we go. Now we have the other side all made up. And now that we've got this little loop thing with the bead in the middle, the next step is to put on the sugar skull and then put it onto our earring. So in order to do that, let's get some of these jewels out of my way. We want to just open up the loop, put the sugar skull on, and close it back up. Then go up, open the other side, and then we're going to put it into the middle of our big oval jump ring, between the two small ones. So then we get that on there, go here and tighten her back up. And now that that is done, our earring is finished. And there we go. A pair of sugar skull earrings. Hope you like that. And as I say, you can put in an entirely different charm. Instead of putting this in, you could have put a couple of extra jump rings to let it drop down, or it would have, or you could have not had it, just had one jump ring and put it up here. And if you didn't want them so big, because if you didn't put this bead in, you could make our hoops a little lower and have your charm hang just from the large jump ring. So many variations you can make, but I think these are really cute and I really like them. So anyway, let's get turned back up and we will speak for a while. Okay, there you go, our wonderful, pretty sugar skull earrings. There they are. And as you can see, they are about, well, not even quite as long as the earrings I have on at this moment. Actually, maybe we'll just trade those out, shall we? yeah, aren't those cute? They're bright, pretty, have a nice length. Well, to me, I have a love for dangles, so that's a nice length for me. But as I was saying, if you didn't want to use the sugar skull so that you could have something that you could wear all year long, put in a different charm. It doesn't have to be the sugar skull. And, you know, many variations you could make on this. Put in a different charm, make it a little shorter, leave off the little pink bead in the middle here, use different colored beads. But these hoops are really fun, and I have a real love for hoops, so to me these are great. And then of course we have our other pair of earrings we made today with the little skull and all of the tassels and the little disco ball. The one that I think feels like a little party for your ears. And so I think this is a great one too. So again, you can always switch those up. You don't want them as long. Don't put as much chain in, and don't put as many tassels on it. You could put a regular bead instead of the skull and put all those tassels on it if you wanted to, and then it's definitely an everyday wear earring. So many variations, and but I hope that you enjoyed these videos, and try some for yourself. This is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and I hope you enjoyed these earring tutorials. Thank you. Bye-bye.